Hello, my name is Dr. Liz Fiedler Mergen, and I am going to talk to you a little bit about the brand new platform, farmerstoflorist.com. By the time this episode comes out, that should work, farmerstoflorist.com. If for whatever reason it's not, it's because we haven't forwarded the domain, and you can go to app.farmerstoflorist.com. It'll take you there. This webinar was a live recording, Q&A. I really recommend that you watch it on the YouTube link, not just listen to the podcast episode. One disclaimer I want to give: when we did the email sequence about the webinar, for one reason or another, I have no idea how it could have possibly happened, but the very last email that was sent out 30 minutes prior to the webinar, the Zoom link wasn't working for a lot of people. And so we only had about 30 people on the webinar, but you'll hear me throughout it saying another email of people trying to get in. But we decided to just proceed, go ahead and do it. And it was fantastic. If you watch until the end, there is a ton of so many good questions, feedback. Right now it is open. You can go ahead and sign up. If you are listening to this, you can save $100 on any of the 3 annual plans: Florist Pro, Farmer Only, or Dual Account. You'll be able to see all the features. Like I said, watch with the webinar, but use the code DOERS. That is good until 11:59 p.m. on Friday, January 9th, Central Time. We go through all the behind the scenes of this. By the time you see some of these features, there were a couple bugs during it. I wouldn't say bugs, but just things that people suggested, a CSV versus a PDF when you export a list. By the time you are seeing this, those things will be fixed. I am so excited. I am so excited to continue with this. We've already had a couple people sign up. And as always, if you have questions, please go ahead and reach out. Our email is hello@farmerstoflorist.com. But I hope that you find this useful. I hope you find this helpful, and we will go from there. Thanks. If you are not familiar, if you found this in a different flower farming group, something like that, my name is Liz. I am a nurse practitioner turned flower farmer. I did not go to school for horticulture. I did floriculture in FFA in high school, but like so many people, it's a second career for me. I started out with a farm stand, and that evolved into doing weddings, events. And at this point now, my flower farm, it's called Sunny Mary Meadow, located in central Minnesota. And we do, right now, I think I have almost 30 weddings booked for the year. We built an event venue, and I have 4 or 5 florists that want to very seriously buy flowers from me consistently, but we have to come up with a different solution because the spreadsheets and the inventory and trying to find ways to make it work just it wasn't doing it. And so I also did not want to just list my flowers somewhere that my retail customers can see that floral pricing, especially now that I'm a florist myself. I'm a farmer and a florist. And I feel like what the industry needs is that piece to connect it and to respect the industry as a whole and be able to do that and offer the florists that are looking for it the right flowers, the solution to the problem. This started out originally, I published a crop planning tool 2 years ago, a journal on Amazon that I created myself. And it was a physical journal, and it ended up probably, 250 people bought it. And then the next year I duplicated all of my spreadsheets and I sold it as an online course that you could have access to how I use my spreadsheets. And I think I sold that for, $75, something like that. It was just really hard to plan your crops, and it still was missing a lot of pieces. I have a really good friend that is the most tech nerd software engineer, and I explained to him the problem, and we came up with this solution, and this has been a year plus in the making, and I'm finally ready to share it with everyone. So Farmers to Florists, it was originally meant to be kind of an inventory tracker, a way to manage and do the sales within it. But then it's honestly, I would say that that's even second, the farmer to florist piece. Now I would really say that it's become a platform that helps the entire floral industry from farmers to florists is the goal. And I'm going to share with you a little bit behind the scenes of exactly what it looks like. But I just want to be clear that after tonight, it will be open for purchase, but I don't want this to sound like a huge sales piece because I am so confident in it that I do believe that it's going to do what it's going to do. And if it takes a little bit longer to take off, that's okay. So I'm going to share my screen of the platform. First thing I'm going to show you is the pricing. And that's just, let's get that out of the way because you're probably curious. And until you know how much it costs, you're going to be sitting there like, this is great, but what does it cost? So these are the different subscriptions that you can get or tiers that you can do. You can have a farmer only account. You can have a dual account that's farmer and florist. There's a free florist account if they're just shopping. And then there's a Florist Pro account where they can have the entire recipe planner, budget tracking, things like that. They can make their recipes and share them with farmers so it could be grown to order. That's the Florist Pro. But if you're trying to just list your flowers in there for sale, I understand that it's also hard to get. It's already hard to get that florist on board to, make the switch. This is the different pro accounts. This is if you pay annually. This is if you pay monthly. At the end of the webinar, if you choose to sign up through Friday, you will have a $100 off coupon that you can use on any of these three, if any of these three fit you. I do think the dual account is going to be what's best for most people. That's what I feel like. But the other thing that I'm going to share is that the monthly is going to be going away. I understand that people want to pay monthly. Budget-wise, it's a little easier to swallow, even if it is a little bit more. But with something like this, we need everyone subscribed year-round so that the farmers stay on there, so that the florists, right now, they're event planning. They're trying to put their recipes together. They want to be able to share it. So it does work best, even though we work in seasons, our seasons and florist seasons don't line up. So that's why I don't want people joining and stopping and joining and stopping. So ultimately know that the monthly is going to go away, probably either 200 users or around April, whichever one comes first. So again, that's the pricing. I just want to get that completely out of there before we go and do it, because now you can go ahead and fall in love with it when you realize that it's only costing you a bouquet a month. Because if you're thinking it's $100 a month or something, you're not going to listen. First thing I want to share with you is that this is how you can go back and forth. I have a dual account. Will this be available in Canada or just USA? So this will work in Canada. I'm going to show you. We were talking, and Canada doesn't have zip codes, but it's the different searches that can be done. So the functions will work nationwide. And then the Stripe account can take Canadian dollars. So this is what the dual account looks like. I have a florist and a farmer. So my farm is Sunny Mary Meadow. I have a dual account. I can switch back and forth. So we'll go to the farm piece. And within it, we're going to start with the crop planner. So the farmer side, you have a crop planner, you have inventory that you can list for the florist. They can see what you have available for that week. And then there's the message board back and forth within the florist. Now I want to, actually, before showing you the farmer part, let me go back and, And then, good question, Megan. I'm just going to keep answering questions as they come in because that's way more conversational. Judy, I don't know anything about Reddit, so I don't know the answer to that. But Megan, whatever you do, like if you do monthly, you will have that forever. You will be grandfathered in. So the people that get monthly will get it. So the florist side, they can go in and they can browse farmers and they can type in their zip code. Lisa, will this work for a collective? I believe so. I think that, you could have one username for it on there and everyone can list their inventory or what they have available at the same time. I typed in 50 miles. So these are all the farmers within 50 miles of me. Now, what I like about this is that the florist has to request access in order to see it. And then the farmer has to approve it. This is trying to protect that wholesale versus retail pricing. If you also, and especially if you're selling to florists, they're not going to like that you're selling your Lysianthus to retail customers for $2 a stem and they're trying to buy from you. And we can pretend like it's, I get it. It's a free enterprise and you get to set your own prices and everything, but we have to look at the industry as a whole. And I feel like that's what is going to help keep that. So then they can see it. And then again, I'm still on the florist side, but this is an order that I placed. There's communication back and forth. So let's look at Browse Farmers. So we'll pretend like I am a farmer separate from my florist. You know, most of it's not the dual accounts. So I have got available flowers.
Yeah, she made a new
Those are
app
like my
that's
burner
supposed to be
accounts
like
that I had
farmers
created.
and florists can
So here's
connect with
these
each other.
flowers available the week of June 4th. Now keep in mind, there will be so many in there. This is just my actual real account. So it can be, you know, they can place their order, they add it to cart, it's there, they can proceed to checkout. Now, what I like about this is intentional and this is by design and this definitely can change, but I want to know what the industry is going to want. And right now we are not doing a point of sale through it because I want people to be able to do their what they use right now. I want to continue to do QuickBooks. Eventually, maybe a point of sale can go in there, but for now, you know, so if these are available June 4th, if that's the week, okay, I'm going to pick it up the 5th. That was, you know, I happened to set a Thursday on there. And so these are for a wedding on Saturday. I would like to pick up, and on your farmer profile, the florist can see if you have delivery, if you have pickup, what the instructions. I would like to pick up Friday morning. I want to know that when I'm selling peonies to a florist, the florists that I know that are using them for event work, I want to know that what day is the event? When do you need them? That's really going to help me guide that. You know, same thing with tulips, same thing with, you know, whatever. And so I placed that order. You know, it's pending. I can see that the farmer has not approved it yet. And so what it looks like on the farmer side, there's an alert for an order came through. There's a pending order. Yep. They'll be in the greenhouse pickup window. They're not going to be in the greenhouse, but I don't know why I wrote that because that's what it said. They'll be in the cooler 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., you know, bring your own buckets, whatever that might be, whatever you're going to have these different communications between them. So you approved it. Now the florist is notified. So that is kind of how the orders work behind the scenes. I'm going to get into the crop planner if you're not selling to florists. So I went through and I added all of my planting dates. Green is planting, orange is harvest. Now, it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. It's going to be a bit of a trial and error. I will show you how I had it. And so ultimately, you enter it and then we'll plan something brand new. So let's say Snapdragon. I'm going to put these in my high tunnel in March 23rd. You can try the AI help with details. It is helpful. I would say hold off on using it for a little while if you can, because it's going to get to know what you as a user utilize. And so I'm going to say pink, orange, white. And I'm going to say this is a continuous harvest. Typically for snapdragons, I would say I get 2 stems per plant, harvesting twice a week for 3 weeks. I think that's pretty fair. And then for the maturity days, if you don't know the answer, what I have been doing is literally type in how many days to maturity for snapdragons after transplant. And, you know, typically, you know, that sowing seeds, of course, this one's not showing up and I see it there. But for me, usually start flowering after transplanting 56 to 84 days. I would say that that's for early spring, the way that we're doing it. I'd say more like 60 to 80 days if I'm planting them in the high tunnel in March. And then that automatically says, okay, if I plant these in March in a high tunnel, they should start blooming somewhere between May 22nd, and then they'll be done around, if I say that 60 to 80 days. And then there's 3 different colors of, say I'm doing a tray of 200. You add your planting. Let's find it. These are some of my older ones. Here's the ones I just added. So now I have those in there. And then now I know that those are planting. And then when I go to that harvest date, that is, you can see them right there. So expected harvest date starting there. You can also export the schedule. We have a planting schedule and we have a harvest schedule. So here's roughly, how soon some of these things will be blooming, how long they're blooming. It's going to update constantly. You can download, you can delete it, you can just look at. This example is for plugs, not started to make from seeds. Yep. So correct, Megan. This example is for plugs. I buy plugs, so I'm going to say roughly how long it takes from there. If you were starting them from seeds, my another example that I'll use, I'll just show you the planting schedule real quick. So this one's also really nice because these are, ranunculus that I'm starting in my heated high tunnel already. And this just really keeps me on track of what I'm planting when. And then what's really nice is we all know things change. We all know things get behind. I'm planning on planting these zinnias May 11th, figure out roughly when they bloom. What's nice about this technology, this software, is it's going to get to know me, and I will record the date that I planted, and I can record the date that I harvested. And then just year after year, it's just going to get more and more accurate of how long those things take to bloom. And we can look at different zones. But another example, so sunflower. So I have some in here, and, yes, those are ones that I've done from seed. And so that's directly on there. I would encourage you to tailor it to however you utilize it. My Lysianthus, I said 90 to 110 days. It really depends what types of things you're planting and how long it takes. And then, I can see there's that, that order that I had approved. Hey, that's what, it still says me because I'm the farmer and the florist in a dual account. You can put the conversation in here. Sorry, we only have 45. Is that going to work? I don't know, something like that. And then the other thing that I plan on doing is these conversations are in here, but then I am going to just copy and paste within the order. You can communicate, you can send a message. I am just planning on copying, pasting the invoice to my QuickBooks link. I love it. You can do sales tax, no sales tax. It's just, that's how I do everything is QuickBooks. But if you have Square, if you have Stripe, if you say, hey, bring a check for this amount, however you and the florist do it is up to you for your own billing. Maybe we'll add point of sale system to this, but that's a whole other integration that I don't want to force on anyone. That's a percentage of a sale. That's another thing to figure out. But we need to make it easier for the florists. Within the farmer side, there are some resource guides that I'm really proud of. I spent a long time doing them. These are not just ChatGPT, boring driven things. I created a template in here. This is my farm that I can email out to different florists, message them. This is to get them straight to my Farmers to Florist profile. They can create a free profile just to shop, or they can create a profile, the florist profile. And so this is showing you exactly step by step how to upload and use this exact thing to customize yours. So photo, logo, photo of myself, photo of my flowers. Okay, photo, logo, photo of myself. And you can put in there what you have. You can email that out. If you are not familiar with selling to florists. I understand their needs because I am them. I do weddings. I get it. 2 years ago, I cringe and I'm embarrassed at the buckets of flowers that I showed up to the local florists and was mad that they didn't buy my stuff. And so we have customizable email templates that you can send. Hi, here's an example. Here's mine. How to use do's, don't, keep it skimmable. I mean, some of these things might seem really basic, but it's just helpful. Farmer's prep list. Before you go and talk to a florist, I want you to think about this. Ask yourself these questions first. Are you going to do delivery? Do you have pickup times? Are you going to have order minimums? How far are you going to drive? These are all things that I want you to succeed. I don't want you to go cold calling your local florist who's, planning funerals and, coming in the middle of whatever. Those things are going to be super helpful. And then we also created an ebook for your reading pleasure. It's 36 pages long. Again, I want to stress this is not, some chat GPT generated, but just very, very helpful tips that I think will help. And then the inventory piece of it, you can either manually add your items. So let's say, ranunculus, we've got white. These are $2.25 a stem. We have this in here right now just to kind of, if they're browsing and they just need something on the cheaper end, they can search by pricing. I don't know that that'll be super helpful. That might be something we get rid of. I don't know yet. But then let's say I have 100 of these for the week of May 18th. And you can either upload your own photo or you can generate a white ranunculus photo on there. And I'm going to give a disclaimer. We're going to see what it pops up as. Sometimes it's a little slower. Right there. And it does say AI generated so that they know that that's not a picture of it, but hey, there's white ranunculus. Add it there. So that's what's going to be available. Now, this is the part that's exciting to me. This is everything that I projected within my crop planner. This is what I should have blooming when. I'm planting Lisianthus in my high tunnel, my heated one, the beginning of February. So I should have Lisianthus around May 18th. Once I'm in the crop planner and I documented as planted, then it's seeding. So then it's over in that shows it up. And then within there, you can go and say that it's harvested. So say I plant all of them, and then at the time you can go through and harvest them all, and then they will automatically update into your inventory available that week. I know I'm giving a lot of it will, but it does. I just, for the purpose of this webinar, can't keep going back and forth. The approval part, this is where it shows up. Approved florist, previously rejected, you can reconsider, but I'm not naive to think that there's not some competition going on. I've had people say things like, I don't want my competition knowing what I'm doing. I don't know. Do with what you want. But I do think having them hidden is a good idea. You also can choose to have your farm completely hidden. When you create your profile, there is the option, public profile, market visibility. So you can be a private farm if you drag this over and just use it for the crop planner, and you're not selling your stuff and no one can search you, and you're just using it for the crop planner and the inventory part. And then any farmer or florist that shares with you, they can choose to share their recipes with you. So this is a huge one that I had created, but we're doing a couple wedding shows this Sunday. And so now I have that florist has shared with me what they need. And so I can preview it, and I'm able to copy to a clipboard, and I can export that into a CSV. I'm just going to show you what the recipe planner looks like on this end, so you can get a little bit better of an idea. So this is in the florist profile. And if you have a dual account, you have both and you switch back and forth. Is the inventory going to remove itself? I don't have it set up to auto remove. That's something we could look at doing. What I would like to do that is Maybe when we add inventory, Megan's question was, is the inventory going to remove itself after a set date? Example, harvested 100 sunflowers and they don't sell. We could do that. We could, as we have inventory, we could add a line that says, you know, good for 10 days, good for 5 days, good for whatever, so that it automatically does that. That's a feature. I'll jot that down. I think that might be a good idea. Otherwise, just manually Xing it out of there so that we don't have florists. Because sometimes, you know, let's say peonies for event work, it can sit in my cooler for weeks, a month. Same things with tulips, lysianthus, 15 days, you know, depending on how long I do it, especially if it's event work. So that's a good question, Megan. I think maybe an option when we add inventory saying how long it can be there. Okay, so here is the florist side. One example, so Katie and Dylan, we created all of the recipes on there. I have a master list that I can export. I can export it as a PDF. So I know that I need 23 stems of roses or of cedar. I know that I need 23 ranunculus. I know I need 5 scabiosa because here's my recipe that I created for the bridal bouquet. Here's, you know, I needed 6 bridesmaids. Here's the individual recipe of each one. And then what is nice is you go through, you add your inventory one time. So the bridesmaids, you know, you can enter it. And let's say I add, here, I'm just going to create a new one because that's actually a real bride. Megan's wedding is on Saturday. Whites. So then with Megan's wedding, I can go ahead and I can add a new arrangement. Bridal bouquet. It's a mixed bouquet. And she's going to have roses, white, 5 of them, price per stem, $220, whatever. Add something else. I want, you know, and then this is my favorites that I've entered in there. Spray roses. Yeah, pink. Okay, I know I said whites, but you guys get the general idea. But what's also nice is florists can, what they can do is they can make it, and that's only one. See how that updated the total cost and the recipe list. They can also make their recipes hidden, the actual recipe itself. So it's automatic on the farmer side. We did end up changing this completely. So they don't see your individual recipes for every little thing. They see your master list for the entire event. So they know that you need this many yellow stock and pink peonies. And so how I plan on using it with the florists that are buying from me that I know really well already, they are going to create their recipes and I can browse their recipes now in January and, you know, look at it and say, hey, I can handle 80% of your orders or of your flowers for your weddings in June. The only thing you need is you got to get your ruscus and your roses, but I'll get everything else. I can grow that to order. Are there any other questions right now? I know that was really fast. We'll send this out in the email, re-record it. Yeah, this is the farmer side or the florist side. This is the farmer side. When you set up your profile, you can say, you know, for me, I put farm pickup delivery with the $200 minimum and delivery fee. I don't know that that's going to stay true forever. We'll see. But just kind of understanding that. Can you show us the wedding list on the farmer side? Yes. So this one I need to, and this is a huge wedding show. Keep that in mind. So it will suggest a price point or range for flowers. Right now it does suggest a price point on there. The other thing that I want to share is that this is new. I understand that this is new. I do firmly believe that this is so needed in the industry. But I want to be clear that I am a flower farmer and florist and not a tech guru. But Caleb and Justin are absolutely amazing. And they are, I mean, this will be fixed probably by tonight. We will have a PDF that you upload that has the list also as an option. Although I do like the CSV, I like spreadsheets. I like to be able to make comments on there. But the other thing that I'm going to say is everyone who joins, we have a private Farmers to Florists Facebook group. And then we're not going to start next week just because I know so many people are still going to be on the fence and the discount code expires on Friday. So I feel like I want people to have a chance to just kind of mess around with it. But starting that following week, every Monday night at 8 p.m. and every Thursday morning at 10 a.m., we're going to have office hours. And that's going to be me and either Caleb or Justin for tech support. Able, if you're having a major problem before that, we can get it fixed, but there'll be those office hours that you can come in. And then in the Facebook group, I picture the office hours being more like tech support. This is going wrong. This isn't working. And I picture the Facebook group really being a community of like-minded people who want to see everyone succeeding. So if you have problems, then you can share it that way. Target stem length for price. Suggestion for the variety. Oh, yeah, that would be good too. And I think, this is really my goal is for this to make this easier for both sides. But we as the farmers already get it. We know why local matters. We know that we can put out a good product. This might not be for the farmer that's, I had 800 people click on the webinar link and I had 170 sign up. Only got about 35 of you on there because apparently I emailed out the wrong link. But this tells me that this problem matters, but it's not for everyone. If you're someone that's, it just depends. It depends what you're using your flowers for. Do you need this much data for everything? Probably not. Although I feel like one tray that goes undone or one massive, one bucket of flowers, you will make up for that in this time. So let's see here. Does the florist choose what farmers to share the list for the event? So as of right now, every farmer that is connected to that florist can see their recipes. Will you be building a database that contains the flowers with more of these average days to maturity and some average blooms? Yes, Katie, that is a great question. So let me get back to that. Megan, my goal is to, make it so that not every single farmer can see it. That way, you have your preferred farmer, you have your preferred florist. I don't want this to turn into a bidding war of different farmers fighting over the same florist. And florists don't want that. They're going to go with the farmer that can best meet their needs. They're going to go with one farmer, maybe two. That's just the way that it's going to be. And if you're the first, imagine if you're the farmer who can come and say, I can meet all these needs, plus here's my really easy ordering platform. You go in the inventory, you click on my farm and you see it. But yes, I agree. I'm going to write that down, Megan, a way to hide the recipes. Next question. Will you be building a database that contains flowers with more of these average days? Yes. So this software, it keeps track of that. So it can know the days of maturity on here. And then that suggested amount will be able to do that. All of this information, the more information that we put in there, the more likely it's going to happen. And then, that first season, figure out, usually I plant my snapdragons outside on May 1st, and usually by June 25th, they're blooming outside. And usually by July 5th, I have snapdragons coming out of my ears. What's really going to be helpful for me as a farmer, and Mel, I will be getting to your question in a second, but what I'm most excited about as you continue to grow and have a plan and you're crop planning with intention, I can go and look and say, hey, I'm going to schedule a harvest, whatever. Okay, hey, sunflowers are planned to be blooming, and sunflowers are something that, those are days to maturity. And just make sure, and I have that peace of mind, when I have someone coming, and this isn't for I put dahlias in here just so that they'll be part of the inventory, but I'm not putting peonies in my crop planner. I'm not putting dahlias in my crop planner. Like, I put them in here so that they'd be available for inventory for the florist to buy them. But they're something that, okay, they're going to start blooming end of August until frost, right? I don't need a button that says, and they can vary so much with weather. You guys know that. I'm thinking those things that are pretty predictable, Lysianthus, I want to make sure, hey, I bought plugs, I ordered plugs. I want to make sure that I, as I'm doing it now, because there's still time to adjust some of those things. If you contact, I know Dawn, my sales rep from Ball is on this call right now. If I realize, hey, I have all these September weddings that are white and the only Lysianthus I have that should be blooming around mid-September is apricot. Okay, I need, let's make sure I have that. This visual helps me, but the PDF visual helps me. This visual helps me, but it's all in one place and I can go ahead and adjust that. And if that tray sat there for a week and didn't get planted out and it's delayed or whatever, my ranunculus corms didn't get planted till 3 weeks later, I can push that back and know when I have that availability. Mel, do you see this format continue to improve based on comments and feedback? Absolutely. I am proud of where it's at. I feel like we are not rushing this. I feel like I have tested this. Megan, I have a group of Foundations of Peddling Perishable Products flower farmers that I coach. They've been seeing this since September, I think, or August. They've been seeing it. It's been to this point since August. Not quite this point, but this is where we've gotten it here now. And I'm proud of it. And I feel like I'm not rushing something out that's going to be super buggy and not working. But I also am very excited to see what it looks like this time next year, because I am one person and I try to take every feedback and suggestion with a grain of salt because, before we jump into changes and major changes. So I believe that it's going to change. And that's why we're doing, these webinars. That's why we're going to have someone from tech and someone, hopefully it'll always be me. If this grows, I am very, very prepared to hire a part-time farmer who would be my rep on here to help me out with this, because I need someone that knows it. Oh, you should be proud. It looks amazing. Thank you. I am proud. This has been really scary, but it's something that I knew that we needed. I firmly believe this is the hardest part, trying to get people to get on board. The more people we have that use it, the more it's going to be helpful. If there's tons of farmers on there, and then delivery fees, all of those things. I think we should add to cart a delivery fee if you do that on there. And maybe that'll be, as of right now, depending on delivery fee, I think most florists are going to want us to do deliveries. I've gotten away with not doing them for the florists that I work with, but next summer it's going to have to be a delivery every Wednesday. It's just going to have to be. That's what they need. That's what they want. They're willing to pay for it. I need to be able to make that happen. And so again, the point of sale is not through here though. You would still use your Square, your QuickBooks, your whatever type of invoicing. You could even type in, please bring a check for this amount, whatever it is that you do. But my goal is within that Facebook group, asking questions, making sure the pricing is on there, and we'll be able to run that data, especially once the inventory is done. We can say, hey, and that's where I want to go with this next. I want to say, hey, Colorado flower farmers, do you realize that these are the most requested, bought, and whatever flowers in June? Do you realize that? Because we are keeping track of all of this. Like I said, Caleb and Justin, nerds, love them, but they are keeping track of, they're like running reports for me saying, Liz, 96% of the time this button works. Like they're running those reports. Hey, 70, and that's why they're going to be freaking out that I sent the wrong link, because they're going to be like, are you kidding me? But we're keeping track of those things that, hey, percentage of times it works. We will be able to see what zip code florists are typing in, and that is going to be amazing. What if you don't have florists to join your area? So that's the thing. I see the question about what if you don't have florists join, or vice versa. How do we get them to? That's why I created these resources. It's going to take time. If they don't want to buy, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And there are 3 florists in my small town. And if someone's listening from the St. Joe area, please don't tell them that I said this. This isn't an insult, but I don't think any of those 3. There's literally 3 floral shops within 2 blocks in my town of 5,000. They're not going to buy. They want mums and roses and leather leaf and things that last a really long time in the cooler for when the phone rings, they can do a funeral. They are not interested in these types of flowers. I hope they will be someday. I hope they're open to it. But I think once it's all, thank you, Don. It may take some time to set up your farm first. And that's where we're rolling this out now, because what's so amazing is it's not an app because I don't have $100,000 to pay to create an app. Like that's the cold hard truth. But you can, if you go to the website itself, I'm just going to show you guys on my phone real quick. You can go to the app itself, and then in the field, I have all these projected things for the week. And that's my goal, is to just pull it up in real time when I'm out there and I'm in the cooler, and it can take me 10 minutes to update from my phone exactly what I have. So I have the inventory. It's right on here. Woo. So you can go through and you can update it, and you can quick add an item, and you can do it from your phone in real time. I do not suggest doing your entire crop plan. I will be perfectly honest. Granted, I know how it works. I entered all of these individual things. I pulled up my list of plugs that I have ordered. I pulled up my list of seeds. I entered the actual plant date on all of them. And it took me about 2 hours. And I did it from my iPad that has a keyboard and no mouse. And that was really annoying. If you have a desktop or have a laptop, I would really recommend that initial crop planning from there. But after that, the goal is that it works from your phone. You can update the inventory in real time. You could do that messaging in real time. And I know that it's tempting to just send a text or an email or whatever to the florist, but if you can keep all the messages in the same place so that you can remember, that's what's going to be huge. And that's why we created the florist side, that type of thing. When you're in the next phase of saying this color flower was requested most of the year in something the farmer. Yes, absolutely, Katie. There's so many. You're an accountant, I can tell. The x-axis, the y-axis, the volume requested. Like there is so much need for this information, knowing what people want, growing it seriously. And I feel like the price point is really fair as far as, what a bouquet costs a month, what an hour of your time costs a month, what, all of those things. Data analyst, actually, now. Yes, perfect. Yes. And then consolidating the messages in one place. I'm so excited. And I want you to, this is the part where I'm confident that this is going to be so useful. I know that and I hope I didn't sound rude when I was like, I don't know what it is. I've heard of it. I think it's probably similar. I don't know. I did not. I can honestly say, I know that there's, other software out there. For my own mental health, I try to stay in my own lane and not pay attention to what others are doing. And I wanted to figure out my own needs and not copy something else. So, I've had someone say, is this like Bloom Buddy, or is this like whatever? Tina, I've started using it and this is a game changer. Thank you. The other thing that I'll say, so Tina and Megan were both, actually Megan, I don't think you ever did sign up as a beta user. You could have, but you didn't, but that's okay. You're signed up now. Maybe you did. So then, yeah. And push notifications and email. Yes. Because otherwise, how do you know if something came through? Yep. The push notifications and emails. And then I did not, Megan, I did today and I played around. Perfect. I did not give instructions. Tina, Megan, I've got like 3 other beta users that really dove in. And I said, I don't want to give too many instructions because I know Katie was using it out in South Dakota. I didn't want to give instructions of how to use it. I said, just start, just go and let me know what you think. Because if I told them what to do, I didn't, I wanted to make sure that this was really simple. My Sydney, that is my main florist that works for me on my farm. She, I just had her go wild on the recipe planner. Just go break it. Yes, pretty much. And so I had her entering all these recipes, and, it took maybe a minute or two to find, the next ingredient. And this is the next ingredient for the recipe planner. Add flour to this arrangement. If you hover, most things will tell you. And like I said, Caleb and Justin, today, one person on a Facebook group had posted, or maybe it was last night, saying, is this available in Canada? I'm texting them and I'm like, hey, is this, can we do this? There was something else that I had them do. It was on the farm side. They literally added this today. Oh, I know what it is. They added the
Can't even feel it from the side of her head.
they added this search bar because you can sort it by planting date. So now you see exactly what's planting. You can sort it by projected harvest date. So the very first thing I have blooming should be Buplurum on March 16th because I have a heated high tunnel February 2nd. I don't know. They're Buplurum plugs. Is there a way to generate an order for what plugs you need from this? I'm thinking as a plug supplier. I mean, yeah, I would say that you can print your. I went in and put in what I know I'm planting. However, it would be amazing if, in July, when there's not a lot of things, you're in that little bit of a break, you're in that little bit of a in between spring flowers and summer flowers. Plan for next year already. You already know what you needed for the spring, what you would have done differently. If you guys can't tell, I did not put tulips in here in the crop planner. There's no tulips in here yet. I'll just manually add that inventory. I feel like they're always kind of the Wild West for me. So Dawn is my sales rep for tulips. So anyway, but Dawn is great if you guys need something. Yes, Dawn, I think if we put things in hypothetically or what we plan on doing, the summer before, and then think how much time that'll save our ordering list if we just know what we need when. My goal is for it to be really useful. And like I said, there's the private Facebook group. So if you buy, then you'll get the link to the Facebook group. It's private. We approve. We're going to manually make sure that everyone is actually in it. And then those webinars, these Zoom meetings with the correct links every Monday evening and Tuesday. It's going to be me for a while. Megan, I've used Rooted and it's not specific for flowers and much more broad and more of a local directory and sale platform for all kinds of flowers. Yes, this is my goal. This is for flower people, farmers and florists. And I think just being able to tell those trends, all of those things. Can you show us how to enter a crop into inventory? Absolutely. Whoops, that's planting. It's super easy. So I did that ranunculus one. So are you saying like from the crop planner into like once we harvest it? So I'm going to say, and this showed up. So I originally hit generate projections. I'm a little hesitant to do this for a second time because I don't know if it's going to show up the next time, but we'll just see. Oh, good. Good. It didn't duplicate them. No plantings ready for projection because I didn't enter any new plantings. So that's great. And then your inventory week to week, I'll get to your specific thing that you asked for, Josh, but you can clone last week. There's not going to be anything right here. Or no, they still have it on there that it's on there. Oh, so then it clones what you have already there. Let's see here. Okay. So then you can update that quickly. Let's go into that Snapdragon that I had entered for March 23rd. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say actual harvest date. I'm going to put today's date so that it's not future. And I can generate an AI image. Oh, that's a nice little field. You can't win them all. I'm saying that, can we deduct those from inventory and have them show up? Yes, Mel. Josh, I promise I'm getting there. I just have ADHD. Mel, for those that use our own stems for floral work, can we deduct those? Yes. So what I plan on doing is, it'll track shrinkage. And that's why I recommend the dual account. If you use your own stuff. And so that's where, if you have anyone helping you at all, if I have my own farm is set up as a florist so that I can claim inventory. How do we purchase this? You will get it in an email, I promise, and it's going to be the right email. But the website, you can do it right now. app.farmers2florists.com and then code doers. I'm not in love with that. I was going to do like bloomers, innovators, change makers, and I ended up with doers, like people that are doing it. Anyway, code DOERS on any of the annual plans, Florist Pro, Farmer, or Dual, that automatically gives you $100 off. So if you do a dual account, you'll get it for $26 a month on average, but you have to do the annual one. Otherwise, there is the monthly, because I understand it's a big commitment and maybe you just want to try it out and you don't want to commit for a whole year. I get that. Okay, Josh, getting back here. So I entered the harvest date there. So I'm going to save changes. So then you go over here. But that is the goal, that you go in there and once you hit harvest, you'll enter the amount and then it adds it to your inventory. The other thing that I want to get added, and again, I've played around with all of this, but there's so much to play around with that there's going to be things that need to be fixed, like this on here. I'm being fully transparent. It'll be fixed by tomorrow. I want to be able to sort these planned plantings. We need a sort by date, sort by name. That definitely is needed on here, that PDF. But then when you click on it and when you record it as harvest, you should be able to generate it into inventory. Katie, if you started a farmer membership, if you want to do the dual later. So right now, this is what, I'm on here. It's under managed subscription, and this is all through Stripe. So that's a very safe platform. Right now, this website is app.farmerstoflorist.com. After today, starting tomorrow. So anyone that's been on that directory, we're canceling that. That's going to be no more, the original directory. And then, this will be, so that if you go to farmerstoflorist.com or app.farmerstoflorist.com, it brings you right here. Yes, I would say highly encourage the dual account. The recipe planner was by design. I understand the reason that we wanted to do it this way. We went back and forth. Do we add a recipe planner to the farmer, or do we keep it separate, only a florist only profile? And I guess to me, I liked the idea, if you have someone helping you, if you have someone keeping track of that inventory. I don't want someone to accidentally delete my recipes. I don't want someone to mess with them. I just thought it was a lot better if you could go back and forth, florist, farmer. And then you can see the recipes, you can share them back and forth, you can look at them, but it just keeps it a lot cleaner. And then that way you can claim that inventory so that you know how many you have. You guys, this is your money. Like, I want to answer questions before we do it. Okay. Yes. If you're going to do both, what will happen to the original directory? As of right now, I don't have the additional resource on the floral side, like the farmer side, but I plan to. I definitely plan to. But I feel like it's going to be very feedback driven from the farmer. And I want it to be successful, and I want those things to be changed right away. And that's why, we have those office hours. If you have that relationship from that florist, I'm meeting with, her name is Jenny Becht. She's from Minnesota. We are meeting on Friday. We're having a Zoom call. She runs the Minnesota Floral Collective, used to be the Floral Hustle podcast. Now it's the Floral CEO. Her input is going to be invaluable. Everyone says, yes, Jenny. Yes. No, her input is going to be invaluable. I would have loved to meet with her before the holidays, but we both got stuff going on. So anyway, but yes, trust me, I need this tool to work for me also. That's what I want you guys to understand, is that I am you. So Megan, I'll cancel your directory subscription. And then will you demonstrate Nigella? Yes. So, okay, we're on the farm side. We go to dashboard. Then we're going to go to inventory. Add item. Nigella. Did you say what color? It's blue. We're going to do 210 a stem. I'm going to put there, I don't know, I might get rid of that price indicator. I don't know. 50 stems. We're going to say that's available today. Again, no promises on this AI image. Oh, hey. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the florist side. So I'm going to go to my connected farms, view farm. And then here's the future inventory. So this is when you browse it. There's only one item for these weeks. Those peonies, I said that one was May 17th, but here's what it looks like. Say, I want, and that's what's also nice is if you want, you can go ahead and put them in there and they can pre-claim it. And that is the other reason why I did not add. I want to see how people use this. And I want you to trust from the florist side. Can they drag and drop to form my recipes? Maybe. I'm not sure what you're asking. Um, oh, like create their recipes based off of this. So I just want to understand the florist can shop but not buy. So I have to enter and then respond to messages and choose who gets the product. Okay. So, yep. So they buy. So you can, yes, you can shop and you can claim. But for example, I don't know how many of you have a wholesale account. Think of it as like Lenbush. I am not charged until the flowers are in my cooler because it happens very often with perishable products that there are substitutions, there are changes. They're calling me. You don't pay when you order, you pay after you get it. So you'll go ahead and you'll claim it and you'll say these 40, whatever it might be, add to cart. Here's the cart. And again, this was intentional. Please deliver as per usual. And my thing is, if I get a florist that's requesting to shop, I am going to pick up the phone or send an email to them if they are requesting to connect to me. I am going to immediately make that initial connection and say, hi, my name's Liz. I see that you found my profile. I just want to make sure we're a good fit. What are you looking for? Are you looking for how often do you want to buy? If they say, well, I'm just browsing. Hey, you want to come out to the farm? You want to meet me? What do you want to do? And then can they only order? No, they can order for they can order for other weeks, which I also love because I'm putting in my orders for so proceed to checkout. That's May 17th. Submit order, date required. Oh yeah. That won't work. Um, I'm going through my weddings right now and giving my wish list to my wholesaler already for things that I know that I'm going to need roses and whatever, just have it kind of done. So they can go through and they can place these orders well ahead of time. Now, where it's going to get challenging is, like it or not, we are business owners. Hey, they have an order for, they put that in there. The date of the order is on there, but this is what they want. They want these flowers. They've claimed them, and this can be my projections of what I have growing. But until the order is approved, and then let me show you what it looks like on this end. So that way the goal is to kind of grow to order, and then we can understand. And that's the other thing is we can be browsing a couple weeks ahead of time. Florists are so used to that. Florists are so used to that, to not getting what they wanted, to not getting what they ordered. It sucks, and we don't want it to happen often, but I'll get a call and say, hey, we don't have this, but we have this substitution instead. That happens all the time. And so being able to say, just let them know early, say, I know you wanted white lysianthus. I'm not going to have them. Odds are they're going to order white roses instead. Okay, so I approved this on my end already. So I want to show you what it looks like here. And then this is on the farmer side. So that morning when I have it ready, I can mark it as ready for pickup. The florist has been notified that the order is ready for pickup. Florist will get ready for pickup right there. Okay, they picked it up. Again, I'll have the invoice in there. There could be instructions. Mark is complete. Now it's done. So there's a completed order right there. And then you can go through and you can manually that's going to be, again, by design. Can they only order for the current week? No, that's where, yep, you can go ahead and do it in the future. And this is why I didn't want to do the point of sale system in here quite yet. I have had I have had florists, I just invoiced them at the end of the month because they came one week and not the next week, and they came again and they came twice and they want them different. Is the florist pre-orders, does it lower their projected for that crop? Yes. Yep, it does. And then, so that'll adjust your inventory. And then if you know what the florist needs and you have it, it may be a great way to work together to find a farmer friend that may have it. Exactly. And that's where I'm, someone had asked, will this work for co-ops and collectives? My plan is I have a enormous walk-in cooler. If you're familiar with my farm here in central Minnesota, you can follow it on Instagram, Sunny Mary Meadow. We just built a floral shop and event space on our farm, and I now have 2 big walk-in coolers. But my hope is I can think of quite a few farmers in the area that are really good or really enjoy growing things that I just don't really like to grow. And if I say, hey, you handle those, I'll buy them from you, I'll list them on here, or whatever it might be. Team up together. You could have one username and password for a whole collective for the inventory. Who's to say? I mean, that's going to be, I don't want to get into the weeds of keeping that super organized and different user accounts. I mean, anything, Gmail accounts, whatever. If you have a second user, it's another $10 a month or whatever. We could consider adding that in the future, but for now, I don't know. But I think it could be if one username and you just know whose is whose, put it in the comments when it's added under inventory, which farmer it came from, and then you figure it out later. I'd be open to however people want to use it. Yeah. So I will be, do you see this? Okay, Mel, I totally agree that that's something that I want to do for DIYers and bulk buckets. I'm just trying to, I do want that to happen, but I do not think if we open this up to DIY brides, we're not going to get a buy-in from florists. We're just not. So I'm focusing on just florists for now. However, once it's working and once we know, then I could see a way of adding florist pricing, retail pricing. And when you request a farmer, you only see the retail. You have to enter your ST3 form, your wholesale form, or whatever it is for your state. I think we have to be really aware of the state of the industry, and if we are a way for DIYers with buckets, I think that's going to be different. So that's why I'm saying it's just florists only. But I do personally believe that even if you're a florist, I mean, if you're a florist, this is amazing, I feel like. And we'll continue to improve it. We'll continue to work out the recipes. If you're a farmer, whether you sell to florists or not, I feel like the crop planning and your own inventory is going to be great. The recipe planning portion, I do think if you're going to sell to florists, just understanding how it works and knowing how it works on that end, creating your own recipes for, I had made one for subscriptions. Did I make it for subscriptions? Oh, there's the farm. Sorry. So August subscription. And it's also very eye-opening, with the pricing. And I had figured, amaranth, $1.80, sunflowers, $2.10, buplurum, $1.30, zinnia, $1.50, scabiosa, $2.10. That's what the prices are from the wholesaler. So the cost for, one of these bouquets wholesale without any labor is $29 or $26.90. That's literally what the florists are paying for those, at least in my area. And so just knowing, and that's okay. You can sell a $40 market bouquet directly to your customers. It's still going to be profitable in some ways at some time. But if you have florists that want this, I think it's going to be fantastic. So then, for that week of subscriptions, now we can say, hey, here's our ingredient total list. I need 80 amaranth, oh, this one's the bronze upright. Yep. So there's the bronze upright. That's just, I don't know, Cascade. I didn't put the color on there. Bupleurum, Scabiosa, sunflowers. I know exactly what we need. On the farmer recipes, are you able to get your photos in there? Yes. As a farmer and wedding florist as well, I'm excited to see. Yes, exactly. The inventory year, what you used to yourself, what you sold wholesale. Think of how much we can learn from these. And yes, as a farmer recipe, are you able to get those? So on the farmer side, the inventory, there is a way to upload your own photo. That's clone, that's edit. So you can upload a photo right here, or you can generate an AI image. I mean, it's crazy to me. I am in all of these flower farming groups and I see people saying things like, get the Chat GPT Pro account. It's $20 a month and create folders and subfolders for all of your recipes and all of your crop planning and whatever. And I'm like, there's AI capabilities within this, but there's AI capabilities in email. There's AI capabilities in Google. When you search something, I mean, it's there and it's here to stay. But to be entirely running that whole Chat GPT piece to figure out, like, it's not meant for that. That's not what this is. This is meant for this. And for, the price that we're putting it at, I don't know. But like I said, if you are planning on signing up, doers is the code. And that's billed annually. You'll get $100 off when you sign up. And then if you're on the fence and you just want to do it monthly, that's totally understandable too. But you're going to save a lot more money. It'll be $26 a month if you do a dual account divided out over 12 months for annually. But we will just see. So if you're watching this webinar recording, I am just a girl. I'm literally just a girl. I don't know. And then I'm going to share one more thing because I'm shameless and I'm super excited about it. This is where I'm going to get salesy for just a moment because this is amazing though. But I have a memoir coming out in March and I, over the last couple of years, was writing this book and I kept getting told, no, 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 nobody cares. You're not a celebrity. You are not Bunny. You are not Cher. You are not Sylvester Stallone. You are not the host of Survivor. All of these people have 500,000 followers on Instagram. I have less than 2,000 on my page, and I am ranking in the top 5 on Barnes and Noble for memoirs coming soon. People are really excited about this book, and it's the story of my journey to how I got where I got. I'll put it at that. But that's if you're gonna choose between the platform and the book, I'm gonna say go buy the book because I'm whatever. But no, buy the platform too. But anyway, so that's me. I am really proud of this software. And Dawn, you ordered it. Yeah, we'll just be in touch. You'll be getting follow-up emails from me. I appreciate the feedback. We are not done yet. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm going to go see if my husband got my kids to bed yet. So I kind of doubt it, but I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you guys. And I will send this out. Yes, Megan, there are so many balls in the air. It's just, and they're on fire, but it's like a light fire. It's fine. It's good. Anyway. Okay. Bye.